Friends and guests of IINE, please welcome to the stage Alexandra Weber.
Good evening. We are so excited to have you here with us. Please find your seats. Good evening. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the International Institute of New England's 100th anniversary celebration. My name is Alexandra Weber, and I'm proud to serve as the Senior Vice President and Chief Advancement Officer here at the International Institute. When we last gathered to celebrate the Golden Door Award, we were just beginning to explore the rich and storied history of this extraordinary organization. Tonight, we stand at a defining moment, not just marking a milestone, but celebrating a century of courage, compassion, and unwavering commitment to refugees and immigrants. And how fitting that we gather during Immigrant Heritage Month, a time dedicated to honoring the generations of immigrants who have shaped the fabric of this country, who built, innovated, and persevered to make New England what it is today. On that note, I'm going to start by sharing a small part of my own American experience. My full name is Alexandra Mazzella Weber, and my maiden name is Mazzella. My grandfather, Giuseppe Mazzella, was born on Procida, an island off the coast of Naples, in 1898. He left Italy in the early 20th century with 4 million other southern Italian migrants fleeing grinding poverty. When he landed in New Orleans, he began our family's American history. He met my grandmother Lily in Brooklyn, New York, and became a glove maker. He died a legal permanent resident. He never became a US citizen, and he never learned English. Like so many of you, my family's American story began with someone who wasn't born here. These stories connect us. But tonight isn't just about reflecting on the past. It's also about shaping what comes next. A century ago, the bold women of the YWCA founded the International Institute of Boston, standing up for immigrants in a time of fear, division, and exclusion. Today, history is repeating itself. And yet, in this climate, we are reminded of one powerful truth. We have the power to decide what kind of community we want to live in. Tonight is about celebrating Boston's legacy as a welcoming city, but more importantly, it's about making sure that legacy continues. Immigrants are not just part of America's past, they are its future. Today, the International Institute of New England is serving 11,000 people in communities across Massachusetts and New Hampshire, refugees, children, survivors, some of whom have enduring legal status, and others who are fighting to keep it. We have thousands of people to support this year and each year to come. We have more work than ever. But to keep going, we need community support. Tonight is about celebration, but it's also about commitment. It's about what each of us can do to protect and preserve New England's promise of welcome and opportunity for the next century. Thank you for helping us make tonight the most successful event in our history. Given the current political climate, we need to rely on private support more than ever before. So our goal is to raise an additional $100,000 in the room tonight, because the needs of immigrant families have never been greater. Your donation tonight directly supports individuals and families. You can help a family close the gap between food stamps and a full month of meals. You can help adults access employment and secure jobs that support their families. You can ensure a young refugee has access to college and career advancement. You can fund legal services that can help a family naturalize and gain the protections of U.S. citizenship. Please access the QR code on the screen and on your tables and consider a gift or an additional gift. Every dollar has an impact. And now I'm thrilled to introduce someone whose story embodies the power of resilience and cultural contribution. Qudrat Wasefi of the Afghanistan Freeharmonic Orchestra came to us through past Golden Door Award honoree Yo-Yo Ma and his Silk Road project. Qudrat's music is a powerful reminder of what it means to preserve identity while forging a new future, and we're honored to have him and his orchestra here with us tonight. Please join me in welcoming Qudrat Wasefi.
Good evening, respected guests. My name is Qudrat Wasefi. I'm a composer, trumpeter, and activist from Afghanistan, a land that has been torn apart and destroyed by conflicts. I was born into an impoverished family in western part of the country, in an isolated desert town neighboring with Iran. My childhood was split between two houses, my parents and my aunts, who had no younger children of her own. While this might sound unusual to some, it gave me two places to call home. When I was 8, my aunt and her husband moved to the capital city of Kabul. There, they gave me an option of a third home, to live with the Afghan children at the Afghan Child Education and Care Organization, AFCCO. The orphanage was not only for children who had lost one or both of their parents in the war, but also for kids from low-income families, rural families, who had lacked access to education, or kids like me. This was a life-changing moment for me. I was living with kids from every part of Afghanistan, from different ethnicities, with different accents, and even speaking different languages I had ever seen before. Through this orphanage and their partner organization, Solace for the Children, I had the chance to visit the United States for the first time in 2010. I spent 6 weeks in Jacksonville, Florida. I remember so much about that first visit. First, it was very hot and humid. It was also a very happy time. Back then, there was no pain in being there, no knowledge of what it means to escape your home country, to survive. In Jacksonville, everyone we met was so nice to us. Our host family became like our families. I learned how to swim at the local pool. I heard live music for the first time in my life. I learned American songs, and I learned how to dance at the church. In Kabul, we played soccer or football too, but not a perfect field. We kicked the ball among the dust and clouds of the broken buildings, the remains of the civil war between Mujahideens and the Soviet Union's occupation. Still, when the time came to leave Jacksonville, I couldn't wait to return home, while some of my friends, they were crying. I run to the gate. When we landed in Kabul, it looked so different. There had been construction on the streets and the airport highway. I remember me and my classmate, we were looking at each other in shock and asking each other, oh wow, is this really Kabul? A year later, we returned to Florida again. And that time, my English had improved. I could say more than nice to meet you, or I'm hungry, or I love you. The American language and culture were becoming familiar. Jacksonville was becoming another one of my homes. I have spent most of my life away from my first home, my parents' house. I had lived with others, the children at the orphanage, my American host family, more than I have lived with my own parents and siblings. My passion for music grew when I was selected to the kids' choir at the orphanage. And the real opportunity came in 2011, when our entire choir was enrolled at the Afghanistan National Institute of Music, the only musical school in the country. I started with playing dulraba, an Afghan Indian instrument. Then I noticed the power of the brass section, which made me pick up the trumpet as my main instrument. There I played with orchestra and various other ensembles. While I was in college, I began teaching the younger kids at the orphanage. I formed a choir of 30 Afghan young girls ages 5 to 13. They taught me so much about music and connection. I wanted them to feel safe in our classroom. I encouraged them to ask questions, to share ideas, to treat each other with kindness, just like a family. Right after my graduation from the Afghanistan National Institute of Music, I was asked and appointed to stay in the country and help with teaching the kids, as some of our foreign teachers started leaving Afghanistan after 2014. I was leading the school choirs, conducting the wind ensemble, and taught trumpet. One day, as I was wrapping up the class, I asked my questions if they had any questions or concerns. One very shy girl raised her hand slowly and said, "She has a question." I said, "Yes." She said, "Do you know how to smile?" It was a great teaching moment. I burst into laughter. She told me, "You look better this way." In that moment, I like to think we both felt at home. After the US withdrew from Afghanistan, the country collapsed under the Taliban in August 2021. They soon banned schools, work, and denied girls from their very basic human rights. In 2022, I received a scholarship to study composition at the Longy School of Music of Bard College, where I just graduated. Thank you. Soon after arriving here, I, with some of my wonderful musicians who will be playing with me, and some who couldn't join us today, who won't be with us tonight, we formed and founded the Afghanistan Freeharmonic Orchestra to connect musicians from Afghanistan who have been apart after this political change in the country. I would like to close with a few verses from one of my recent songs, "Love for a Stranger." I wonder what and who a stranger is. A passing face, a fleeting name, or someone waiting just like me for kindness to ignite a flame. I wonder what and where home is. Is it walls that shelter, hands that holds, or voices soft yet strong and true, that warm the hearts when nights grow cold? Home is where peace finds a place, where love is woven thread by thread, in laughter shared, in open arms, in words unspoken, yet still said. Now, with that in mind, what I want you to take away from this performance tonight and my speech is to offer help to those in need. Take a hand, give back to someone in every capacity possible, just like the International Institute of New England. I know of kids who have lost their parents who lost their kids, entire families, communities, and town destroyed. I hope one day to return to Afghanistan after years of gaining knowledge and education here and experience, not only to preserve the rich culture and music of Afghanistan, but also to establish a music school that brings joy into the next generation's eyes and hearts. Tonight, I hope we bring some joy here. Please enjoy some of our favorite songs from Afghanistan. Thank you. And I would like to invite my friends to join me on the stage for a music performance. Thank you.
Thank you, Kudrat, and many thanks to the Afghanistan Freeharmonic Orchestra. That was just spectacular. I'm Jeff Thielman, the President and CEO of the International Institute of New England. Thank you. We are excited that you're here to join us in celebrating our centennial and the launch of our next 100 years of service to this city, this region, and this nation. It takes a lot of talent to build and sustain a humanitarian organization dedicated to serving refugees and immigrants. Those of us privileged to work at IINE today stand on the shoulders of dedicated staff and board members of the International Institute of Boston, also known as IIB. And we're grateful that many IIB colleagues are here, including Westy Egmont, one of my predecessors, and Rosman Allen, one of our board members. The International Institute of today is fortunate to have an outstanding board of directors led by our chairman, Avak Kavachian, a dedicated leadership council, a terrific senior management team that keeps me in check, and more than 200 professional staff members who are doing heroic work every day. Before we go any further, I would like all of our current IINE staff, all of our board members, all of our leadership council members, and all of the past IIB staff and board members to stand to be recognized. This event takes its name from the iconic poem at the base of the Statue of Liberty. I lift my lamp beside the Golden Door. The award we present honors immigrants who have made significant contributions to American society. Tonight, we celebrate all past honorees and the entire community that has shaped the work of the International Institute over the past century. We are grateful to have several former honorees and their families in the room. After I announce them, I'm going to ask them to stand. With us tonight is Carolyn Mugar, whose father received the award in 1973. Daphna Hatsopoulos, whose husband George was our 1996 honoree. And one of our co-chairs, Belinda Termeer, whose husband Henry, a giant in the biotech industry, was our honoree in 1999. And our honorees in the room include Dr. Victor Zhao, President of the National Academy of Medicine, Benjamin Zander, conductor of the Boston Philharmonic Orchestra and Boston Philharmonic Youth Orchestra. He tells me all the time that he taught Yo-Yo Ma, one of our honorees. Deborah Dunzire, who has served as the CEO of several biotech firms, the chairman and founder of Flagship Pioneering and the chairman of Moderna, Nubar Afeyan, Moderna's founding CEO, Stefan Bancel, and Harvard Business School Dean Shrikant Datar. Stand up and let's recognize these folks. Can you imagine this country or this nation or this region if this talent had not come here? You don't want to think about it. I want to thank our 4 co-chairs for tonight's event, Nubar Afeyan, Stefan Bancel, Belinda Tremere, and Reshma Kale-Romani, along with our 41-member host committee. I mean, the whole group did an outstanding job, has raised a ton of money. I'm so thankful to all of you. I want to recognize our lead sponsors, Bancel Philanthropies, Gordon Dial and Company Advisory Group, Tuan Han Nok, Triumvirate Environmental, and Vertex Pharmaceuticals. This is on track. This event is on track to be our most successful ever because of you and because of everybody in the room. If you had a chance during the reception to see our Centennial timeline, you may have been reminded of your own family's immigration story. It is the same story of refugees and immigrants from all over the world who landed in Boston, built our city, and changed the entire country. Nearly all of us are here because someone in our families took an uncertain journey to the United States. Thank you. Like my colleague Zan, my family's story began in Italy. My great-grandmother, Antoinette de Bona, came to the U.S. from Naples in the early 1900s. She learned that building a life here takes an incredible amount of work. The clients we serve today know this as well. Like our clients, my great-grandmother received some help from neighbors, friends, and a local church that served the Italian community. And like our clients, and most of you and all of your families, she built a family and contributed to her community. We chose red, white, and blue as the colors of our Centennial because welcoming newcomers is among the most patriotic things all of us can do. That was true in 1924 when the Institute opened during one of America's most restrictive immigration periods, and it is absolutely true today. Throughout our history, IINE has responded to multiple global crises. We helped resettle the Ravensbrück rabbits, Polish women who survived Nazi medical experimentation during the Holocaust. We supported the Lost Boys of Sudan, and we met one this evening, I think he's out here somewhere, whom we resettled in 2000. We have welcomed Afghans, Ukrainians, and Haitians in recent years fleeing war, and violence. Like those before us who worked in challenging times, Our staff and volunteers at IINE today are meeting the moment by doing the work we have always done, supporting people who are here because they spoke out against authoritarian regimes in their home countries, serving children who have traveled from Central America on their own to Greater Boston, helping refugee youth navigate new communities and new school systems, teaching English to more than 1,000 adults each year, training and placing immigrants in critical jobs in healthcare, hospitality, elder care, manufacturing, construction, and much more, providing critical immigration legal services to a community that has never needed legal assistance more than it does today. And as our founders did, advocating for laws and policies that treat new Americans with dignity and respect. The demand for our services has never been greater. We have waiting lists for nearly all our programs. And as our history has taught us, the need for IINE and our services will never go away. In fact, as our founders discovered a century ago, our work is even more important when public policy turns against refugees and immigrants, as is the case today. Our founders built the International Institute in partnership with the broader community, folks like all of you who are here tonight. Together, year after year, decade after decade, they welcomed and served people seeking safety and opportunity. Whether you are just learning about IINE or are an old friend, thank you for supporting the International Institute of New England this evening. We invite you to continue to support us in the months and years ahead. All of us working in partnership, immigrants just joining our communities, donors, staff, volunteers, corporations, and others can work together to build a better and more hopeful future for all of us. Thank you. Now, please join me in welcoming the Afghanistan Freeharmonic Orchestra back to the stage.
again. I hope you're enjoying dinner. As we continue our celebration, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the incredible community that makes our work possible. Among them, and I'd like to shout out Monique Wen, who's from the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Advancement. I think she just stepped out, but I want to thank her for coming. And while I'm at it, I will also thank my husband who's here, Counselor, City of Boston Counselor Ben Weber. He's in the crowd too. Thanks for your work. Among them and others are Resettle Together groups and volunteers present here tonight. Your willingness to help us welcome families, provide stability and encouragement they need to feel connected and begin to build successful lives here. Your commitment exemplifies the spirit of welcome and solidarity that has sustained IINE for over a century. Would you please stand and be recognized? Our Resettle Together groups. Thank you. Thank you. They're amazing. And now we'd like to share the story of Prudence, a courageous individual who, along with his wife and 4 young children, fled Burundi, facing persecution for refusing to promote misinformation during a time of political unrest. Their journey led them to a refugee camp in Rwanda. Through the dedicated efforts of IINE staff members Ian Rollins and Ashley Welbrock, Prudence's family found the support they needed to navigate the complexities of resettlement and healthcare in a new country. This story is a testament to the profound impact that compassionate support that community can have on the lives of those seeking refuge. Let's now hear about Prudence's journey, a narrative that embodies the hope at the heart of IINE's mission. Thank you.
Today, 1 in 4 Boston residents were born somewhere else. Most have jobs, many have kids. All of them chose this country as their home.
Hey, Prudo! What's up, baby?
I was working with the Children's Trauma Recovery Foundation, and we were training youth workers and child welfare workers from all across the world. You know, we had this beautiful, intimate group, and one of the students in that group was Prudence. And you know, when you meet people for a concentrated period of time when you're a trainer, and then you get to that point where you say goodbye. And you know, most of the time when you say goodbye, and you're saying goodbye to someone from Burundi, you think you're saying goodbye.
The reason I had to leave the country, I remember that it was in 2015. I started with digitalizing the television. The president at that time, he was running for a 3rd term, which was not allowed by the Constitution. The president called me himself in his office and told me, "Oh, Prudence, you see, I'm running for the 3rd term." He said, "You know, with your television, I want you to be able to show the international community that everything went well." When I went out of the his office, I was really doing like this, trembling, really feeling that it's something I cannot do. The only way I had to do was to run away, because even people were being killed, or people who has been demonstrating on the street were being jailed. So I was thinking, if I'm responsible not to show what the president wants, I have to die.
I remember getting a phone call from Prudence, and I remember Prudence saying something like that he was trying to come to the US and that he was wondering if he could use my name and if I could be a sponsor and support him. I knew that one of Prudence's sons needed some pretty serious medical treatment, and without him coming to this country, without him staying with us, that his son wouldn't be able to get that treatment.
Joshua and Jacob are twins. Joshua needed really treatment, surgery. I was planning when I was in Burundi to take him in Israel for his surgery. But unfortunately, I left Burundi.
Then I remember getting a call from the International Institute of New England, and someone on the phone was like, "Are you Steve Gross? Well, Prudence, we've approved his application. He will be coming to the U.S. He's going to be arriving in a week with his wife and 4 children, and thank you so much for hosting him."
The community starts here at the International Institute, and then we build out by relationships that we have with community health centers, school districts, social service agencies, other organizations that serve immigrants and refugees.
The first thing we are so much grateful with the IIN is especially how they organized the surgery of Joshua and how they prepared also us.
For 100 years, we have had a very similar set of services, recognizing the need of people who are newly arrived, not used to this culture, but very motivated for the most part, to get involved, get connected, get into the economy very quickly. Most of the people that we work with have had terrible, life-threatening experiences, but this is their second chance.
And that's the amazing work that the International Institute of New England does. It's like you help make Massachusetts and our country better because you help amazing people come into our country who can contribute in beautiful ways.
It's an amazing organization, this organization. They much listen to people, their stories, and understand how they can help them.
We don't know what's going to happen in this next century of service, but we do know that more than ever, we have to be here and we will be here.
We'll be friends for life and brothers for life. And it doesn't matter how little or how often we talk to each other.
Yeah, that's true.
So to every one of my neighbors back in Boston, know this: you belong here. This is your home. Boston es tu hogar. Boston, 这的家园，这是你的家. This is our city.
Wow, it's so bright. Good evening. Good evening. I hope you enjoyed the program so far. It is certainly a privilege for me to share this centennial celebration for 100 years of life-changing impact of organizations such as International Institute of New England. But what you don't know is that I'm doubly lucky because 3 weeks from now, my family and I will be flying to Paris to celebrate the centennial birthday of my father and my mother-in-law. To have a centennial celebration organization you belong to and a centennial celebration of your parents is more than coincidence. It is a sign of luck. But before I get started, let's do a simple check. First, I will call upon any of you who have been born outside the US to stand up and stay standing. Next, I invite all of you whose parents have been born outside of the United States. Please stand. And lastly, I would like to invite the rest of you who have your great-grandparents or your ancestors who came from outside of the United States. Wow. I believe it is 800 out of 800 of you. And that really shows why we are here, to honor and celebrate our heritage. It's not just about the residents, the immigrants who are coming to the US today, but those who came before us, who together have made this society richer and more dynamic and fuel the growth for this country to become the largest economic power in the world. My name is Tuan Hangok. I'm a director of the board of the International Institute of New England, on and off for the last 25 years. I'm also the chair of its leadership council and the co-chair of the organizing committee of today's event. But long before today, I was also a refugee. In fact, it was almost exactly 50 years and 5 months ago that my country of birth, Vietnam, fell to the hands of the communists. All of a sudden, overnight, myself and my family, my wife-to-be and her family, and millions of others found themselves to be declared stateless refugees, with the only protection, whatever that is, the only protection is a travel document issued by United Nations High Commission of Refugees. That word stateless has never left me. It meant that on paper, I had no country. In fact, it indicated I can no longer return to Vietnam. I have no nation to call my own, no nation who would accept me at that time. It felt like I belonged to nowhere, like I was adrift in a vast ocean with no safe harbor in sight. It is a feeling that so many of our IINE clients over the years know all too well. But unlike many others then and newer refugees now, I was lucky. Although I grew up and had my childhood during the War of Vietnam, I didn't have to face death in the hands of pirates, of storms in the South Chinese Sea. And an American multinational company, Baxter Healthcare, believed enough in these young men from a third world country with an education but no experience. That company hired me to first work in Belgium and 2 years later transferred me to Chicago with a promise of a career and a green card. I was just married at that time, earlier that year. My wife can barely speak any English. Some people say same thing with me. But in any event, we both moved to the suburb of Chicago without a family, a relative to lean on, without much money, but with a job and a deep faith and hope for future of freedom and opportunities that the US represented to those of us immigrants at that time, and I believe still today. Then, in early 1980s, I joined Genetic Institute, one of the first pioneers in the field of biotechnology. And as I said, the rest is history. I mention this because the story of my career may be boring to some of you, and some of you know at my table know me quite well. My career leading and starting biotech companies, helping develop and commercialize multiple therapies, receiving the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award in 2007, named one of the 100 most inspiring leaders in healthcare by PharmaVision in 2008, taking my company through initial public offering in 2010, recognized by Deloitte as one of the 50 fastest growing technology company in 2012, and retirement in 2015 to spend time with my 7 grandchildren. Thank you. But none of that would have been possible without one fundamental truth. I was given a chance. Someone opened the door for me and assisted me, whether it is an individual mentor, a company, or even this organization, as you heard from Jeff, IIB, assisted my wife and I to become a US citizen in 2002. And that is what International Institute of New England has been doing for a century, opening doors for refugees and immigrants, offering a lifeline and a foundation to build new lives of dignity, contribution, and success. You heard this in the previous video of Pudun's story when he and his family fled Burundi with a gravely ill child to find safety and a chance to start over in New England. By the way, this work is not just humanitarian. It is essential. It's not just for them. It's for all of us. With the declining birth rate and aging population, our economy, our culture, and our future vitality depend on welcoming newcomers. We don't just owe them an opportunity. We depend on their success. That's why IINE's mission is so powerful. We meet people where they are, from emergency resettlement services to English classes, to workforce training, to citizenship assistance. It is a continuum of care designed not just to help people survive, but to thrive with dignity and contribution. And tonight, I want to ask you to be part of that mission with me. We are seeking to raise, as you heard before from Zan, to raise $100,000 in the room tonight, a bold and critical goal to ensure IINE can contribute its century of service. And here's the exciting part. Every dollar you give tonight will be matched by IINE's board of directors up to $50,000. That means that your gift will go twice as far. So look up at your table. There is a QR code. Take your phone and look at it. You will see what's behind me now, the different level of giving. But just give you an example. $5,000 will give 4 immigrant families access to free legal services and, most importantly, a pathway to citizenship. $2,500 provide a month's worth of food for 5 newly arrived immigrants' family. $500 provide a class of adult learners with 15 hours of ESOL instruction. $250 provide transportation and uniforms for newly trained immigrants heading to their first day of work. So to give you a context, $100,000 means that we can give 80 immigrant families food, access to free legal services, or 200 refugees' families access to 1 month's worth of food. That's the impact that by your action tonight, you can provide to those who, as I said in my case, just need a helping hand to get them started. So I ask you, would you join me tonight to honor the legacy of our founders, of our own heritage, of our own family, and millions of other immigrants who over the last 100 years, like most of the people in this room, in fact 100% in this room, and help write the next chapter of this remarkable story. So that years from now, who knows, at the next Centennial celebration, I don't know about you, but I plan to be here for the next Centennial celebration. People then can say they stand on the shoulders of generous people 100 years ago to continue to help build this society and this country with the best hope for freedom and opportunities. I know many of you have already donated. That's why you're here. Or many of you did not have such opportunity yet because you are guests at the tables. But please use this opportunity to make a contribution that change hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of lives forever. Thank you for the bottom of my heart and for your generosity and belief in our mission, and for celebrating 100 years of opening doors and hearts to the world. And with that, I'd like to have a toast and raise your glass to our heritage and to those who come today and those who come tomorrow. Cheers. And now, it is my great honor to introduce a remarkable leader whose commitment to advancing healthcare, education, and opportunity continues to inspire deep impact across our region and beyond. Belinda Termeer is the president of Termeer Foundation, an organization dedicated to fostering innovation, mentorship, and compassionate leadership in the life sciences, carrying forward the legacy of her late husband, Henry Termeer, a pioneering figure in biotechnology and a passionate advocate for patients worldwide. I have the honor to have known Henry for more than 40 years, and Belinda for a good portion of that, and Belinda has stayed to become a very good friend of my wife and I. Under Belinda's guidance, the Termeer Foundation has become a catalyst for the collaboration and inclusion. That's the word that became in vogue today: inclusion in healthcare, innovation, supporting emerging leaders who are transforming lives through science and service. Beyond her role at the foundation, Belinda is deeply engaged in philanthropic and civic initiatives that promote education, opportunity, and human dignity, values that resonate deeply with the mission of the International Institute of New England. Please join me in welcoming my friend, Belinda Tremere.
Well, good evening. It is a profound honor to stand before you tonight as we celebrate a century of unwavering commitment to the International Institute of New England, to welcoming and supporting immigrants and refugees. The Golden Door Award has been a cherished tradition of the International Institute of New England for over 50 years, honoring individuals born outside the United States who have made outstanding contributions to American society. This award symbolizes the profound impact immigrants have on our communities, economy, and culture. My late husband, Henry Tremere, was born in the Netherlands. Shortly after our marriage in 1998, he was contacted by the previous CEO of the International Institute of New England to ask if he would be willing to receive the Golden Door Award. Henry wasn't a U.S. citizen, so he took this opportunity to begin the process of becoming a U.S. citizen. Then in 1999, at the Golden Door event, he was sworn in by the former Massachusetts Governor, Michael Dukakis, before receiving the Golden Door Award. So Henry's journey to the United States was fueled by a vision to make a meaningful impact. As the CEO of Genzyme, he dedicated his career to developing treatments for rare diseases, transforming countless lives, and contributing significantly to the biotechnology industry. He often spoke about the importance of embracing challenges to make a difference. He once said, "It's okay to fail. It's our responsibility to do what seems impossible if we can make a difference to patients." Tonight, as we reflect on a century of dedication, we also look forward to the future. The stories of past honorees inspire us to continue building a society that values diversity, resilience, and the indomitable spirit of those who seek a better life. So let us now turn our attention to a special video montage celebrating the remarkable individuals who have received the Golden Door Award over the years. Their journeys and achievements remind us of the enduring strength and contributions of immigrants of our nation.
On February 1st, 1924, the International Institute of Boston first opened its doors. A century later, now combined with the International Institutes of Lowell and Manchester, New Hampshire, to form the International Institute of New England, IINE's Boston office has grown to serve thousands of refugees and immigrants in Greater Boston every year. We continue to stand for one enduring belief. The American story is and always has been a story of immigrants. Boston has long been a beacon of hope, a city built by immigrants and enriched by each new generation of dreamers and freedom seekers. Over the past 100 years, people displaced by violence, persecution, and natural disasters have come here to rebuild their lives. Through war and peace, struggle and prosperity, IINE has walked beside them, offering legal aid, education, job support, and a path to belonging. We have seen how, with that initial support, refugees and immigrants go on to achieve their dreams and shape Boston for the better.
An immigrant experiences physical dislocation and all the elements that change The culture is different, the language is different, nothing's owed to you. You're immediately thrust in a struggle. However much people help you, you're still not comfortable because that's not where you came from. And those things, if you overcome them, you actually get a sense of kind of fearlessness about that unknown. Well, if you think about innovation, innovation is just intellectual immigration. You leave the comfort of what you know, and you create a new place where everybody is at a disadvantage because nobody knows what's going to happen next. And if you get out there first, the advantage you have is that you've been there before. It's for that reason that if you look in with West Coast, in Boston and other places, it's the places where there's this healthy diversity of people's backgrounds and mindsets where you can see a lot of innovation.
In 1970, aiming to recognize and celebrate how significantly immigrants contribute to U.S. society, IINE established the Golden Door Award. The 42 recipients of the award have spanned 26 countries and a vast array of sectors, from the arts to healthcare, sports to higher education, government to the sciences. They have included an award-winning architect, the first woman to serve as Chief Justice of Massachusetts, and a world-renowned musician. While each of their journeys to the U.S. is unique, their stories remind us all immigrants are courageous, resilient, and innovative.
When my friends came to my house, I would make my mom take away everything that looked Indian so that my friends would be comfortable and we wouldn't be the weird ones in the neighborhood. And for so many years through my early schooling, I tried to wipe it away. I tried very hard to change my accent so people could understand me. I tried very hard to assimilate, genuinely just become American so I could just become more like everyone else. And I think it's because of the age that I came. The Golden Door Award felt really, really great. It felt like I could come back to being who I am. And it was like a celebration of maybe what Nubar is saying, and I am Indian and I am American, and it's both okay. And so it was a really big deal. I'm not into awards, but it was a really special one because I think it allowed me to, as a fully formed adult, come full circle and overtly celebrate who I actually am.
As we mark a century of supporting and celebrating immigrants and prepare for the next 100 years, we look to the words etched at the base of the Statue of Liberty as a guide. I lift my lamp beside the golden door, because every immigrant who walks through our doors carries the promise of a brighter tomorrow for themselves and for all of us. The future of this country, like its past, is immigrant-made. Boston proves it every day.
Tuan's right. It is bright. It is very bright, but this is also an amazing evening. It's actually really, really symbolic for me. It's really heartwarming. I've been part of the organization for 7-8 years now, and to me, this is really the apex of my time at the IINE. I'm Avak Kahvejan. I'm chairman of the board of the International Institute of New England. And I really want to thank you all for being here tonight. So I want you to imagine a scene, a young couple in an urban hospital's maternity ward. They've just welcomed a baby boy into the world, and they're looking out of the window of the hospital, and they see the roof of one of the most prominent hotels in the city on fire, billowing with smoke and flames. Doctors and nurses are running around in the hospital, not paying any attention to them. They've delivered their baby, they're okay. And they are really shell-shocked. That baby boy was me. And thankfully, I don't remember any of this, because a few weeks later, or a few months later, my parents whisked us all away to London and then to Montreal. And you might say, well, that's a really unique and harrowing story. Like I said, thankfully, I don't remember it, but my parents do, obviously, and they've told me this story. It turns out that that was a fateful, terrible day in the Lebanese civil war known as Black Saturday. unfortunately, the day after I was born, or the day before I was born. So you might say, unique story, very unique story. But in reality, thousands of Lebanese have undergone the same story and have fled from Beirut to Montreal and then spread throughout the world, including the United States. And one of those people was Nubar Afeyan. Nubar was born to Armenian parents in Lebanon. He moved to Montreal when he was a teenager, and he received his undergraduate degree from McGill University. He then moved here to Boston, where he received his PhD at MIT, and entered the field then barely known as biotechnology, a nascent, maybe not even field. It's no small part to Nubar that the field of biotech is no longer nascent, and that people like me and other first-generation Americans have found a place for ourselves in it. 25 years ago, Nubar founded Flagship Pioneering, a venture creation company based in Cambridge. My colleagues are here today, thankfully, supporting us. And since, Nubar has played a role in launching more than 100 biotech companies, including a little-known company known as Moderna. He's helped reshape and expand the New England economy for the 21st century, and he's changed the lives of billions of patients around the world, saving an estimated 20 million lives during the COVID pandemic alone. In his spare time, Nubar is also a philanthropist. He co-founded the Aurora Humanitarian Initiative and supports a range of causes, both here in the Boston area and in his spiritual home of Armenia. He is a long-standing and staunch supporter of the International Institute of New England and a fierce advocate of immigrants and refugees. In fact, I can tell you from experience, and my colleagues can attest to this, Nubar will often urge all of our colleagues in business meetings to adopt what he calls an immigrant mindset, letting go of what's familiar, to embrace uncertainty, and to engage with the strange and uncomfortable new ideas that drive innovation. In 2017, Nubar received the Golden Door Award himself, and he is graciously serving as the co-chair of the host committee for tonight's gala. Please join me in welcoming my colleague of nearly 20 years, my mentor, my friend, Nubar Afeyan.
All right. Well, let's see if this opens. You guys have heard a lot of speakers, and I think I'm the last, so you have a little more to go. Thank you, Avak, for the kind introduction. It's been a great journey together for the 25 years, and hopefully another 25 to come. No matter how many times they introduce me with lots of fancy words, I remind people that I'm not going to retire anytime soon. So these fancy introductions should wait. And thanks to Jeff for inviting me to say a few words tonight. 9 years ago, when Jeff approached me and said, you know, would you consider this? I said no, I had never accepted any kind of award, nor did I deserve any. And then he told me, look, this is something that Henry was willing to do to galvanize the biotech industry, to support IINE, and he would have, and I want you to do this. And so I couldn't say no to that. He used a trump card, if you will, not used in the right way. And so I said yes, but I said, I just want you to know I'll do this just once. The next year he came back to me and he said, can you help me figure out who else to honor? The year after that, the same. The year after that, the same. And then I told him, okay, but I will not speak again. A week ago, he reached out to me. He did not say that everybody else had said no. He kindly asked me to speak, and here I am tonight. So you have him to blame. You have him to blame. I also want to just mention on behalf of the host committee how important it is for us and how grateful we are for you to be here tonight. Given the rhetoric, frankly vitriol, that we've been hearing about refugees and immigrants lately, it feels especially meaningful to look out and see a full room tonight. So once again, deep from all of our hearts, thank you for being here. Like many of us in this room, I come from a family of refugees. In the early 20th century, my grandfather, Bedros Ofeyan, escaped the Armenian genocide. He was on a train that was carrying him to begin a death march in a Turkish desert when 2 German soldiers pulled him and his brother off, saving their lives and by extension, enabling mine. My family owes everything to that single act of humanity. Little did my grandfather know, around the same time he was forced onto that train, that people here in Boston, in rooms just like this one, were coming together in their own acts of humanity. It began on a night of November 1894, the Monday before Thanksgiving, when some of the most prominent New Englanders of the time filled into Faneuil Hall to respond to what was then known as the Armenian Question. Their desire to help would grow into what became the Near East Relief Effort, a charity that raised more than $2 billion in today's dollars back then. And it was meant to provide help to displaced Armenians, as well as Syrians and Greeks and Jews, just like my grandfather and his brother. It was one of the first self-organized efforts in the United States to help people who were outside this country, and it started in Boston. Tonight, we're all building on that long tradition of generosity and shared humanity that is well familiar to us in Boston and throughout New England. So many of you could probably tell a story like mine about how you are only able to be here tonight because others lent you a hand. And so now we get to pay it forward. We do our part to extend the same spirit that was behind the Near East relief effort, but well into the future. That said, I want to be clear that what the International Institute of New England does is not just charity. We're all immeasurably better off thanks to the refugees and immigrants who come to this country, as you've already heard. Nearly half of the Fortune 500 companies were founded by immigrants or their children. 44% of the US's unicorn companies, or private businesses worth more than $1 billion, were founded by immigrants. And about a quarter of all US patents each year are granted to immigrant inventors in the US. You can look around, thank you. You can look around this room and see these contributions in the faces and biographies of the past Golden Door Award recipients who are with us tonight. This is because being a stranger in a new land changes how your brain works in ways that make it easier for you, for us, to innovate and to create. I know this from my own experience. After fleeing the horrors of the Armenian genocide, my family eventually settled in Beirut, Lebanon, as you heard from Avak, where I was born. And when I was 13 years old, a civil war broke out there. And we were displaced again, this time to Canada, which opened its arms to us and took us in as political refugees. When I got off the plane in Montreal, I barely spoke French, I had not experienced snow, and I preferred Armenian folk dance over ice hockey. In any given interaction, I had no idea what was expected of me. But as difficult as it was at the time, that turned out to be an incredible gift. If you don't know what's expected, you're not bound by what's expected. You have permission to do things that others might consider completely unreasonable. Now, I've often been criticized for being completely unreasonable. I used to worry that this was a problem, a huge problem, and that I needed to find a way to be more realistic, to be more rational. But at some point, I asked myself a simple question, and I would like each of you to ask yourself the simple question. Why should we expect reasonable people doing reasonable things to create extraordinary results? If you're trying to accomplish something that has never been done, or even establish an entire new field, as together with my colleagues at Moderna and Stefan, who's here tonight, we were able to do, then reason and facts alone can only get you that far. You need to be unreasonable. And that's why innovation comes easiest to those of us who are immigrants, who are unreasonable. That's why this country has been the world's innovation engine over the past 250 years, with each successive wave of immigrants bringing a new set of crazy ideas that they don't know better than to have. The truth is that, as Avak mentioned, innovation is just a form of intellectual immigration. It requires you to leave behind the comfort of what you know, embracing strange new ways of thinking, and sifting through uncertainty to create a new intellectual home for yourself and for others. Anyone can adopt this mindset. You don't have to be a physical immigrant, but it comes easiest by far to those who have had the experience of navigating that unknown in person with all the discomfort, sometimes shame, that comes with it. As I said at the beginning, there's a lot of talk about refugees and immigrants these days, not all of it particularly enlightened. The fact is, attacks on refugees and immigrants and international students right here in Boston are really attacks on all of us. They make our country much weaker. Think of the innovations that will unlock the next chapter of human progress. Maybe a new way of training AI models, or a breakthrough in energy storage, or most likely, something we can't even imagine today. If we continue on our current trajectory, those breakthroughs will happen somewhere else, or maybe not even at all, and we will pay the price. Now, like many of you in the room, although you might not think of it this way, I am an American by choice. That means my roots were not here naturally at birth. I brought them here 42 years ago when I moved to the US. And I moved here to do a PhD, like many thousands of students who are now being denied entry. And like all of you, I care a lot about the future of this country. That future will continue to be written by immigrants, new and old. And I want you to think about this country. We talk about Greenland, we talk about all these countries we want to possess. This is a country that should be viewed as immigrant land. There is nothing but immigrants in this country. And so if we can't protect that national treasure, then we will not be the United States, in my view. As ever, like 100 years ago, like today, and like the Centennial 100 years from now, this country needs us, needs you. Now, Jeff used the word earlier in the evening that caught my attention. He called patriots. He said it's a patriotic thing to welcome refugees and immigrants. And I looked up the origin of the word patriot. It means fellow countryman. It means somebody who's a member of a lineage. That's what patriot comes from. I consider all of us patriots, but patriots of the future of this country, not just its past. And that's what we're here celebrating tonight. To conclude, for me tonight is also about expressing gratitude to the many countries that accepted my family over the past century, Bulgaria, Lebanon, then Canada, then the US. It's also about expressing gratitude to the people who helped us along the way, often as we escaped danger and found ourselves starting all over again. This sense of immense gratitude is what compels my wife Anna, who's here, and I, and I'm sure many of you in this room, to be philanthropists. You can share the resources you have out of kindness. You can share your resources out of compassion, maybe even guilt. But I would argue that the best reason to do so is to engender gratitude in others as you express your own. You see, gratitude, in my view, is a beautiful thing, unlike the tax bill. Gratitude is a beautiful thing. When you express it through actions, it infects the recipient of your actions, but it doesn't diminish the gratitude you feel the next morning. Just think about it. When you expressed your gratitude, when you helped other people, did you ever feel less gratitude the next day? No. There's an infinite amount of gratitude that you will feel if you think of what got you here. That's at least how we think about it. So if we can each find the objects of our gratitude based on whatever opportunities we were given and pay those opportunities forward, the good that will result will grow and will spread. Now, we are all aware that we're living in challenging times, especially for the immigrants and refugees who bring their talents, their hope, their determination, and their survivor instincts to this country. It's in times like these that groups like the International Institute of New England and all of us in this room are most important. We can't control federal immigration policy, but we can make it clear where we stand. We can continue the story of generosity and shared humanity and innovation that stretches back 250 years and has made our city and our country prosperous and powerful. I would argue that we must continue, for our sake, for the sake of our children, and for the sake of every 13-year-old, like I was, out there with a funny accent and a completely unreasonable way of thinking. Thanks again for being here and for your continued growing support of the International Institute of New England. Thank you.
That was a spectacular speech, Nubar. Thank you so much. And thanks for agreeing to speak. I think I asked you more than a week ago, but okay. Nubar has been a dear friend of mine and of this organization for quite some time, and I do call him every time we have an honoree, potential honoree, to get his thoughts. So thank you very much to Nubar, thank you to his family, and thank you to all of you for coming tonight. I want to thank all of you for making this Centennial Golden Door Award celebration a great success. I'm thrilled to share that thanks to your extraordinary generosity, we've raised in the room tonight, there may still be money coming in, $65,000, and for the entire event, $2.4 million. Everyone should take pride in that, and as Nubar said, gratitude begets more gratitude. So your support will ensure that our organization is launched for the next 100 years, and as I said earlier, we want to keep working with you in the days and the weeks and the months ahead. Refugees and immigrants who are new to the United States need our collective support more than at any time in recent history. So thank you for believing in us. Thank you for joining us this evening, and please join us in the reception afterwards. Thank you.